I will restate this really important principle because I think it's worth repeating, that in our democratic part of the system, politicians do not interfere in police operations or police investigations. At no point did our government instruct anyone to release any information, because we would never violate the sacrosanct principle of interfering in a police investigation or police operation, as was the case in this circumstance.
The honourable member for Kildonan and St. Paul.
The former Minister of Public Safety misled a parliamentary committee on the record, Madam Speaker. He said he was not aware the Commissioner would release sensitive information, and he said he never asked her to reveal that information. But both claims are now proven to be completely misleading with the new audio recording. Worse yet, the Minister knew the release of this information would jeopardize the investigation into the worst mass killing in Canadian history. And this was all for Liberal political gain, Madam Speaker. He must resign today. Will he resign?
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary.
Madam Speaker, at no point did our government attempt to direct or otherwise interfere the police operations that was taking place in that tragic incident that took place in Nova Scotia. And let me re-quote what the Commissioner said in a parliamentary committee on July 25th of this year. She stated, Speaker, let me be clear, I did not interfere in the investigation, I did not receive direction, and I was not influenced by government officials regarding the public release of information, and more importantly, on the direction of the investigation. I ensured that operational independence
from the Minister's office, and I shared with the Minister that that in fact it was going to be in the news release, and it wasn't.
That sure matches what Darren Campbell said.
This retired RCMP investigator says it is still unclear whether Lucky was getting political pressure.
If nothing else, the Commissioner has more to answer to, because this does look damning.
The RCMP declined our request to speak with Lucky. The Commissioner, Public Safety Minister at the time, and the Prime Minister have all denied interfering.
What we're very upset about is the fact that we're getting it now. We've received no explanation for why we're receiving it now or where the rest of the recording is.
The RCMP says it became aware of the recording in June and is preparing an explanation for the Mass Casualty Commission about the circumstances around its recovery.
Government's gun control agenda.
There was a request that I got from the Minister's office, and I shared with the Minister that that in fact it was going to be in the news release, and it wasn't.
As Nova Scotia Mounties and Lucky's own communications staffers explain how chaotic their jobs became after the massacre, Lucky makes another reference suggesting they let down the government.
Not being able to come through for the Minister on the simplest of requests.
Commissioner Lucky also expressed frustration that there was not a detailed timeline of the massacre released sooner because she was eager to provide it for the Prime Minister.
It is no longer legal to buy, sell, or transfer a handgun in Canada.
Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau made very clear that all handgun sales are now illegal in Canada. The regulation was announced in May but took effect today. The ban also keeps handguns from being imported. It's Canada's strongest gun control measure in 40 years and part of Trudeau's plan to tackle gun violence.